Neha, I've got to tell you this story, right? So I drugged my son. No, I didn't drug him. Sorry. No, I gave him some nutrition. Um, he's an amazing kid, really, really bright, but he'd been having real problems passing his driver theory test. So he'd not been successful 4 times. And he was getting really anxious. He was, he'd done all the practice and couldn't understand why, why he was unable to pass it. So this morning we had to drive down to Hereford. It was the only place we could get his test. So I said to him, do you want a coffee before we go? And he said, yeah. Okay. So while he's having in the shower, I get the coffee out, filter coffee as well. Nice coffee.
Good.
And I pull out my bag of lion's mane mushrooms and take half a teaspoon, put it in the coffee, pour the water over it, and off we go down to Hereford. He's none the wiser. He's done a bit of revision on his phone. Anyway, he goes into the test centre, comes out, and he's passed. And yeah, and I've just, I'm not a nutritionist, you're a nutritionist, so I'll have to give this question in a second, but it just shows how the body-mind connection is there. And what are your thoughts on how what we feed ourselves and how we feed our body and our minds with food? How important is that to our well-being and our performance, especially our cognitive function, our gut health, and all the rest of it? What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, it's a topic actually, Marcus, that we can spend hours discussing. But firstly, congratulations for your son to passing his theory. So I think, do you reckon a lot of that had to do with the fact that he put the lion's mane in, or he was pretty much
Yeah,
ready
well, no, what I'd noticed was that he was getting himself quite nervous. So his nervous system, because I could see physically and mentally that his brain was shutting down. And I use lion's mane myself, and I know that it's great for building those neurological connections. It is good for reducing cortisol. It's just a really good supplement to just balance the body, bring focus, and get yourself out of that fight or flight. He doesn't do meditation. He's not into any of the stuff that I do. He's not a Jedi yet. But I thought, well, let's see. Let's just see what happens. I don't know if I'm just happy he did it, but I think it's so important. And he was different. He seemed calmer.
Well, it definitely would have made him calm, and you're quite right. I think you did a very good parental trick there by adding that to his coffee, and he's none the wiser. And like you said, you quite rightly so, it does give you that boost, that cognitive function, because we will often do things such as memorizing, and especially students will be memorizing things forever and a day, trying to get that into their brain. But actually, if you're not feeding your gut sufficiently, and their studies have shown, and now it's just coming out into the world that the gut is actually the first brain, that it does affect so much in regards to how you think, how you feel, how you do things, how you remember things, how you don't remember things. There's also studies that have shown that the gut and brain connection links to autoimmune conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, dementia. So if we can get our gut health right, which means stabilizing the gut, and the good thing is the gut can be altered. So the gut is unique to each and every person, very much like a fingerprint print is as well. So different for each person. It alters according to how stressed you are, where you've traveled, also genetically, whether you eat good or bad, whether you drink, whether you're stressed. All of that plays such a huge part on how you feel, not only how you feel from a physical point of view, but also how you feel mentally, that clarity. It can leave people feeling anxious. So for example, if you've had a really big meal, like you've had a big Sunday lunch or you've had a Christmas dinner, okay, how many times do you hear people sort of complaining of the whole, gosh, I feel absolutely exhausted now? So many people. And that's because when you've eaten a big meal or something that doesn't quite suit you, or something very heavy, all your energy goes then into breaking that food down. So it goes, well, the brain thinks, well, I don't actually need all this energy now. I'm going to hand it over to the gut, and the gut's going to take over because the gut needs the work, needs the energy to break down this food, which then leaves you feeling very sluggish. So it's so important to eat the correct foods that suit you according to what's going on with your lifestyle, so that you can have the best life. You can think clearly and not feel anxious, and have that clarity, remember things better, feel more focused. If you give, a great example is, if you give another example is, and I'm full of examples, I think it's the best way to be able to learn, isn't it? You give a child, sweets with E numbers in, they're bouncing off the walls. Look how quickly food can alter someone's state of mind.
Yeah.
So it's so important to get it right, from what you eat, because let's face it, we all have to eat. It's something we have to do to survive. So that's also a great place to start. It's eating the right foods that aren't going to then cause you some ill effect.
And I think it's really important when we talk about eating that a lot of the things, the words that we say, the words we feed ourselves are just as important. People say, what's that phrase? Eat my words, eating my words. And that's true, because what a lot of people talk about the mind, they think it's in the head. It's not. The mind, there's as many, if not more, neurons in your stomach than there are in your head. And that's why when we get inspired, our subconscious mind, something happens, something's not feeling right. We go, oh, it's my gut instinct. And a lot of people don't realize that. And nourishing your mind with the right words, understanding, is just as important to nourish your body. They're not mutually exclusive, are they? Right?
They're not.
And this is
linked,
what I've found. And that's why having those little supplements, you can come and speak to somebody like me, and we can certainly look at where those stories came from, where that programming came from. We can unprogram that. And what I found is great is that when you combine that emotional, cognitive, subcognitive work, that deep work that I do, and then you layer that with understanding your biology and your chemistry, that at the end of the day, we're an electrical chemical blobs, right? That's what we have. It's not who we are, it's what we have. So if you're not maintaining your brain, you're not maintaining your heart, you're not maintaining your gut with the right nutritional food, but the right nutritional feelings, the right nutritional thoughts, then it's always going to be tough. And I think this is what people don't recognize, is that it's not one thing or another. It's a layer, of things.
Totally.
And it's not difficult to resolve, right?
It's not. It's like it is like making a cake. You can't make a cake with just one ingredient. You have to have various amounts of ingredients for it to bind together and work. And in the result, you get this beautiful cake. And that is the same with the gut and the brain connection, because you can eat something straight away and it can tell you, your body will tell you whether it likes it or not. But it's not only eating the right foods, Marcus. This is very important. I see this in day-to-day in clinics every day in my clinic. It's that people will come to me with certain allergies or intolerances, and their body is signaling to them every single day what they don't like, because it's causing them an imbalance, as it were. So we have to also look at things such as whether we've got the right gut microbiome, which is helping us to be able to break down the foods, also helps with our immune system. So it's not just our brain, it's how we function. We need to have our gut, we need to have our brain. If you look at the two, as you look at the intestines and you look at the brain, they look very similar because they are connected.
Yeah.
And and that feeling that you might get, you said about the gut feeling, when people get butterflies in their stomach, what is that telling you? It's it's again your gut is talking to your brain saying this is not quite right, or this is right, or be mindful, be careful. It's forever signaling to you that something needs to be actioned. So
I just had a great analogy actually of where kind of the mind and the nutrition stuff comes in. It's a little bit like having a car. All right. So you can put the right fuel in it. You can put the right oil in it to make sure everything's lubricated and everything's working. However, if we're going to say it's a petrol car, if the spark plugs aren't firing correctly, even though the good stuff is in it, then it can't utilize it. And that spark really is the mind, it is the nervous system, it is that sort of stuff. So you could have a beautifully looking car, you can eat the right food, but if you're not firing on all cylinders, you're still
Yeah,
going to have a bumpy ride, right? It's like kind of
absolutely.
the analogy that I was thinking to say to
Good
people.
one.
And equally, you can have all the electrics working and you can have you press your foot on the gas, fine. But if you're putting the wrong fuel in the car, you're still going to have a bumpy ride, right? It's getting the
Yeah,
two together.
it's like when you're preparing food as well, and you're you but when you start touching the food and you're chopping the food and you're cooking the food, by the time you're eating it, that's getting all of your digestive system working. Your brain is also thinking, you're using your eyes to look at the food to think, this is great. You're using your nose to smell, thinking this smells beautiful. Your brain's thinking, can't wait to eat this. I'm really, really hungry. So everything is connected, and it has to, like you're quite right, it all has to fire at the correct time. And the
Mm,
body's so clever. The body, if you give the body the right conditions, it does heal itself. And that is where the
absolutely.
mind, body, and spirit, or the mind, body, and soul analogy
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah, it does.
Because
Yeah.
we're so powerful. If you think about, if you put a positive thought out there, how often, or if you're thinking about somebody, the chances are that if that vibration is put out there, you'll often get a text or a phone call, or you'll get a message or something from them, because you're in synchronicity. So it just
And
shows
we don't feel it, that we don't feel
we
that here.
don't
We
feel
feel
it.
it here. We normally
Yes,
feel it in the heart. So if you look at if you were to say the mind is here and the gut was here, even though it's not, because obviously any nutrition in here will go all over your body.
of
But the
course.
thing that links both of them together is the heart. It's the way we feel,
Yeah,
And I will say this: anxiety is not a thing. You can't go to Tesco's and buy it. It's a feeling that you create, like baking a cake, putting those ingredients together. But so I wonder if anybody's watching this, does this resonate? That's what I was thinking. How is your mental performance going? How are you feeling in your life? And would you like to find out more? So if you
absolutely.
do, where can everybody find us there?
Yeah, well, everyone can find us. They can come and have a chat with Marcus to speak about how you're thinking and how you're feeling, and come and have a chat with me in regards to how are you fueling your body to get the best out of it. Because, like we've both, Marcus and I, have said, it's not just one element you have to look at; it's everything, and that's where we can help. So you can get in touch with us at the Centre for Integral Health. Um, or through Marcus and our own email address or website, which we'll put into the details of the blog. But happy to talk more, aren't we, Marcus, to see how we can help
Definitely. And
get in better.
yeah, and if you know somebody who is suffering at the moment, maybe it might be anxiety, might be overwhelmed, or maybe you need to lose weight, or you're just not feeling good enough, then get in touch. But share this post as well, because there might be somebody that that all of a sudden what we've said really links in, and we could be helping somebody else. So we're here to serve, right? We're here to serve
Absolutely.
everybody. And the whole of the centre has lots of practitioners as well that can help you. You don't need to go to drugs. You don't need to spend time going to the doctor. We are professionals. We know what we're doing, and we really want to serve, and we really want to help you. So please share if you found this useful, and also drop some comments in. If you've got any questions, drop some comments in, tag us
Yeah,
in, and we'll do our best to answer your questions on the post. So I think that's it, isn't it, for now? We
we
could
look
talk about
forward
this
to it.
forever, right?
Yeah, I think we should do another. We should do another chat on this, Marcus, where perhaps we can direct people to. But I think that's a good place for us to
Yeah.
to let
So
those to
if
get
there's
in
anything else you
touch.
want to know, put a comment in. What else do you
Yeah,
want to know? And then maybe we can do another quick short video blog for a vlog for you to answer
yeah,
those questions that you might have. So any questions, pop them in the comments, and that will help us make some more content for you, so that you know what we're talking about in more detail. So
brilliant. We look forward to
okay, I
hearing
think with
from you
that,
all. Yeah, thank
yeah.
you, Marcus. It's been a
Okay,
great
cool.
chat as always.
Yeah.
And I'll
So if
see
you
you
need
soon.
us, pop over to the Centre of Integral Health website. You can contact myself and Neil, as we said. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was informative. And again, stick a like, stick some comments in, tag us in, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.